Hello, welcome back to another episode. Episode 5 opens with Jessica Roach's narration, where she talks a bit about her life and the concept of death. Then, we quickly jump to the present, as Jimmy is walking toward the therapist. And as he walks, he imagines that everyone in the jail is giving him a suspicious look. Jimmy isn't sure whether his reality is out in the open, so it becomes obvious that this is all in his brain. When he gets to the therapist's office, he learns that Dr. Zitcherman is out of the office and that a substitute is taking his place.
My apologies. Sincerely. Fucked up. I had no idea.
Jimmy is apprehensive about the whole situation, but eventually starts talking to her. He realizes that the doctor is subtly hinting at his relationship with Hall and tells him to tread carefully in that direction. When Roach mentions heading to the beach, the story picks up again. Then, Macaulay and Miller are seen discussing the Trisha Rietler case and how Hall led the police on a long search. Miller appears to be certain that Rietler is truly heading that way. Macaulay declares that she will review the findings once again. Before the story shifts back to Macaulay and Miller traveling on the path that Hall took the police, we see a quick glimpse of Jimmy looking inside Hall's empty cell. They are aware of a solitary gas station, but don't give it any thought. Hall and Jimmy have a chat when they are sitting down, and Jimmy gets Hall to talk about his Civil War reenactments. And Hall quickly comes to the topic of consent, and the youngest girl he has ever been with. However, that conversation is interrupted by a CO. Macaulay and Miller eventually zero in on the construction at one of the intersections on the route. The gas station. They get the employee at the counter to talk about his tenure at the place, how long the station has been open, and the contact details of the owner. While Macaulay calls up the owner, Miller gets some more information about car repair shops or auto parts dealers. He does mention someone called John Dickie Hansen. Jimmy is questioned by Gigant over his intentions to sell narcotics inside the jail. Jimmy claims that the idea stage was where it failed. Carter has returned, and Gigant notes that when someone comes to him for assistance, they have nowhere else to turn and are permanently grateful to him. Jimmy offers Gigant an apology for his mistake, and he accepts it. The subject of investigating Jimmy's life in Milwaukee is brought up next. Larry has another chat with the therapist, and he reveals that he's in a good mood because of his legal appeal and his friendship with Jimmy. Jessica's narration resumes as she talks about her first romantic experience. Macaulay and Miller arrive at Dickie's shop. Miller asks if he knows Larry, and Larry recognizes him. He says that he thought Larry was creepy, and that he looked like someone who was unloved and talked to young girls. Dickie mentions that after Larry hung out for a while, they had to shoo him away because he used to make the girls uncomfortable. We briefly hear Jessica talking about the time she and her sister got sneakers before going back to Jimmy's efforts to get in touch with Zitcherman, or James, or anyone. But it doesn't work, and he gives up. In the courtyard, he sees Carter telling every group in the jail that Jimmy is a snitch. James is really frustrated after a fruitless conversation with the credit card representative. He then leaves for a drive. Because Larry is the only one he can currently trust in the woodshop, Jimmy pays him a visit there. They discuss Larry's wooden birds that he produces. When Jimmy mentions that Larry has molested children, Larry begins to mock him. He does claim that he has never committed a sexual assault. He feels as though he had sex with them. He justifies his hate of women by saying that he is unlikable and contrasts his own beauty with Jimmy's. And at last, he begins to discuss Jessica Roach. Initially, it seems like he is talking about how he approached Jessica, and she just got away. However, then he gets into the horrid details about how he essentially raped and killed her. The details are so scary that Jimmy literally tears up. Audrey talks to Macaulay and Miller. She says that Larry never said anything particularly gross. He always sounded off. When Miller asked how off he sounded, Audrey said he would talk about their ankles and earlobes, and then he would sit on one of the benches in the park and stare at them. She says that when they confronted him about it, he talked about cleaners containing lye and intended to show them the stuff that was in his van. She takes the officers to the storage unit behind the shop and reveals the last thing Larry gave her: a bike. Macaulay and Miller realize exactly what that is. Jessica resumes her narration one last time, and she talks about all the things that she wanted to own. She says that when she was 6, she wanted to have a goldfish. When she was 9, she wanted to have a pack of butterfly hair clips. And the one thing that she had to wait for until her 13th birthday was her mountain bike. The episode of Blackbird ends with Edmund Beaumont saying that the discovery of the bike is not enough to keep Larry in jail. So, Macaulay asks him, what will be enough? Beaumont says that he doesn't know. Jimmy and Larry return to their respective cells. James sits outside the jail. Larry calls out to Jimmy, but he doesn't respond because he is crying uncontrollably as he is unable to digest the kind of monster Larry is. Thanks for watching. Comment below, and don't forget to subscribe.